politician in Ireland, a famous politician, once said, where a lot done but more to do.
We've gone from intent to content, so now we have to go on from there, but it does feel very much as if everyone who's here really understands the issue, so we're not having to convert anybody to this agenda.
A quarter of workers report a back pain, 23% muscular pain.
The estimates are that about 2% of GDP across the EU are spent on the direct and indirect impact of musculoskeletal conditions, about 240 billion a year.
Ponad 20 lat byłem robotnikiem fizycznym i na ten temat przyglądałem się, ale i ten temat schorzenia dotknął mnie. Ponieważ w różnych miejscach z konieczności pracowałem, to trafiałem do miejsc, gdzie prawie wszyscy byli dotknięci tymi problemami.
I think that perhaps one of the things we can do through this type of meeting is to start to work towards a standard.
And that is precisely what Fit for Work vision is, to shift MSDs from disabling conditions to manageable conditions.
In managing our patients with early arthritis, we do recognise that we need careful liaison between primary and secondary care, and prevention of work disability and economic independence, we feel, should be achievable in most patients if we control the disease early.
If we were to look at the evidence base and the research, we've already got a sack full of evidence of what is best practice. What we don't have is evidence of how you put it into practice.
Part of the problem in some countries we found is that too often clinicians or employers believe that people need to be 100% fit in order to stay in work or return to work. And that's just unrealistic and it's not true.
If primary care practitioners in particular, but actually all healthcare professionals, including specialists, are trained with occupational health at the very heart of what it is to treat and manage a patient effectively, then that would make everything else in subsequent practice a lot more friendly to the work agenda.
The communication with workplace does not seem to be particularly good. That the patient often it can be the sole conduit for information between their healthcare practitioner, their workplace, or the healthcare professionals involved in their care.
In a recent study in Ireland, it was shown that 41% of patients with rheumatoid arthritis were work disabled. We also know that newer approaches to treatment can lead to disease remission in up to 50% of patients if treated early.
People must be encouraged and supported rather than penalised if their return to work is something which needs a bit of gradual phasing before it can be fully achieved.
So we're very much looking forward for Fit to Work. Physiotherapy has a great deal to offer. Physiotherapists across Europe are really keen to play an active role.
It is essential that EU policies give due focus to MSDs and work retention so that the EU working age population will remain healthy and viable.
We have to try to convince all the decision makers, but also the population, that health is important. Health is not a cost, health is an investment.
Many people, risk of heart attack, risk of depression, all sorts of things go up once you've left the workplace if you don't feel you have a reason to get up in the morning.
The health of workers and the health inequalities that flow from work are also affected by personal vulnerability and by macro and micro social policies.
There's a real opportunity to learn from other countries where they can and do include work in health technology assessment. I think there's an awful lot we can learn from the Swedish approach and the Dutch approach. And actually it's interesting that in England we do include some concern about work and getting people back into the workplace through public health interventions.
Dzisiaj wy odpowiadacie co najmniej za Europę, za jej rozwój. Macie siły, środki i intelekt wystarczający na to, by nie tylko zwyciężać podziały, ale też zacząć budowę nowego, mądrzejszego systemu.
The next stage of Fit for Work really has to be to support genuine progress at national level.